for something with such a fancy French name, sorbet. It's actually one of the easiest frozen treats to make at home. With just 3 simple ingredients, less than 10 minutes of prep work, and no ice cream maker. Yep, you heard that right. And with this simple recipe, you can quickly whip up just about any fruity flavor that you'd like. There are 2 different ways to make sorbet. You can either start with frozen fruit or with citrus juices. I'll be showing you how to make both of these today, but before we jump into that, we'll want to start off by whisking up some homemade simple syrup. If you'd prefer to opt for a slightly healthier, more natural sweetener, you can always substitute equal parts simple syrup with either honey or agave nectar. I would avoid using maple syrup since it's gonna have a relatively strong taste. To make the simple syrup, you'll want to add 3/4 cup of water and 3/4 cup of sugar to a medium-sized saucepan over medium heat. Simmer for 1 to 2 minutes, whisking occasionally, or until the sugar has dissolved. Remove the pot from the heat and let it cool to room temperature before using. You should end up with roughly 1 1/4 to 1.5 cups of simple syrup. This is enough for 1 citrus juice-based sorbet recipe, or 2 to 3 frozen fruit-based ones. If you end up with some extra, you can always store it in the refrigerator for up to a month and use it in your favorite coffee or cocktail drinks. It's really best if you make this ahead of time because you're gonna want it to come to room temperature before you proceed with the rest of these steps. Like I said before, there are 2 different types of sorbets that you can make. So let's start off with the one that's made with frozen fruit. You can really use any type of fruit here, from mangoes, strawberries, and blueberries, or even peaches. For all of these sorbet recipes, you're going to want to use either a large high-speed blender or a 10 to 12 cup food processor. Add 16 ounces of frozen fruit to the food processor or blender, along with 1/4 cup of simple syrup or your sweetener of choice, 1 tablespoon of lemon or lime juice, and 1 teaspoon of zest. And a really quick reminder here, you always want to zest your citrus before juicing. And this microplane is great for that. Blend everything together for a minute or 2, scraping down the sides every 30 seconds or so until it's completely smooth and there are no visible chunks of fruit remaining. Add additional sweetener 1 tablespoon at a time, blending well after each addition until your desired level of sweetness is reached. Then transfer the sorbet to a 9 by 5 inch metal loaf pan. I really love these guys. I'll be sure to leave a link to them for you. Spread it out using a spatula until it's smooth. And freeze for at least 4 hours or up to overnight. When you're ready to serve, you'll want to pull the sorbet out of the freezer and let it sit at room temperature for about a minute before serving. Don't let it sit too long or it will start to melt on you. See, that was pretty easy, right? So let's move on to the one that's made with citrus juices. For this one, you'll want to pour 1 1/4 cups of the citrus juice into a 9 by 5 inch metal loaf pan, along with 1 1/4 cups of simple syrup and 1 teaspoon of zest. Whisk until combined and freeze for 3 to 4 hours or until it's mostly firm. Transfer the mixture to a high-speed blender or food processor and blend for a minute or 2 or until smooth. Pour it back into the loaf pan, smoothing out the top this time, and freeze for another 4 hours or up to overnight. Just like the other kind of sorbet, you'll want to let it sit at room temperature for about a minute before scooping in and serving. Oh my goodness, there's so many gorgeous, colorful options. Oh, it's like a sorbet rainbow, guys. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna have to start that strawberry one because I already know that it's my fave. Sorbet all day. Oh my goodness, it's so good, it's so creamy and refreshing, all that fresh fruity flavor. And guys, y'all can really have so much fun with this. Try mixing in some fresh herbs like mint or basil, or even adding in a bit of ground spices. But that's not all, guys. If you want a few more frozen treats to check out this summer, then you have got to try these smoothie recipes right over here. Thanks so much for hanging out. I will see you in the next one.